And you're welcome back. So tonight, there are various ways you can interact with us on the show. As usual, you can send an email to jessica@citifmonline.com. And I see that a lot of people like to choose that option. You can also send a WhatsApp to 054-998-6996. Prefix it with the country code +233 if you're watching from outside Ghana. And finally, you can also use the social media option. We are only on Facebook as we speak. So search for Sister Sister Live. Like our page, join the growing community, interact with us, share your opinions on other people's stories, because some of the messages that do not make it to the show actually are also on our social media platforms for, conversation, to generate conversations. So you're welcome to do that. Tonight, though, I've been joined in studio by Olivia Lecousson. Good to see you, my darling. How you doing?
I'm good.
Looking rather flowery.
I know, thank you. And then thanks to Pearl, who decided I should go with my hair like that. Thank you, Pearl.
It's pretty awesome. I'm so jealous. You look well. I hope the family's doing well as well.
Well, thank you.
Great.
And how about you? How are you?
Super. I've got a zit.
Aww.
That happens like
it
4 times a year.
Away from all this beauty. Excuse me.
I'm not even sure if you can see it on screen, but yeah,
no.
it's not funny. And Gail's also here.
Hi.
It's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm okay. You still have not taught me how to tie a scarf. 2020 is ending.
I'm still waiting for you whenever. Whenever.
Yo, I won't say anything.
Maybe the next show.
By the next show, so I'll have you'll bring me a nice colorful scarf.
Yes.
Let's do this together.
Yeah, of course.
It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. I can't wait. We also have our favorite South African, Sabi Njagaza, joining us all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. What's going on, Sabi? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, babe. Oh my gosh. Charlie, it's so hot here. I feel like I'm in Accra.
Oh, really? What's the temperature?
I don't know, but all I know is I ain't coping.
Oh, well, it's just an indication that you need to come back to Ghana soon, eh?
You know this.
All right, it's good to see you. We'll delve right into our first message for the show tonight. It says, "Hello, sisters. I've fallen in love with the man I am married to for the past 7 years. No, I've fallen out of love, rather. I've fallen out of love with the man I've been married to for the past 7 years. Nothing about him moves me anymore because he kept abusing me emotionally. He doesn't do the little things that keeps lovers in love. I complained to him on several occasions, but he brushes it off, saying that those things are for people who are dating. He's not physically abusive, although we mostly end our conversations in verbal abuse. I told him I want us to end the relationship because he has made me fall out of love with him. He's apologizing, but I have really lost all the love that I have for him. We have 3 kids, and I can't raise them where there is no love. I want to be free, and I want to go. I'm just 27, and I'm being treated like an old woman. I just wanted to be happy. But if that's for people who are dating, then I guess it's time for me to leave. Help me make the right decision." All right. 27-year-old. She's been married for the past 7 years. Means she married at 20.
Quite young.
That's interesting. And she has, 3 kids?
Wow.
Gail, would you want to weigh in on this first?
Wow.
Yeah, quite a place to be, huh?
These days, I don't know how they see relationships. Like, should I say, my mom's time, it was like people put in the work. When you're courting somebody, you actually courted the person. You paid attention. You earn the person's affection and all of that. But these days, it's like people just want to be married just for the sake of being married. I don't know if it's because of society or whatnot. So it's like the substance of the relationship is not there. It's just like we are married. They are committed to the institution rather than to each other. So you can tell there's no proper communication here. I mean, like I always say, they're not listening to each other. she's trying to tell him I'm not happy, and he's saying, well, he said what, those things are for those who are dating. But you never stop dating. Even when who says getting married has to change you? I don't know why people say I'm a married person. Wearing a ring, signing a paper shouldn't change who you are as a person or why you guys got together in the first place. I feel like getting married is just to make things official for me. So the things that you were doing whilst you were dating shouldn't change much. So when you tell her those things are for those dating, what does he mean by that? Like, what does he mean? And I mean, it's so sad because, and then she said something that he doesn't abuse me physically, but what? But it's the same.
It's I
mean, the worst one is the verbal one, because it puts you down and you think about what the person says, and then whatever he says that you take in, it will now show on you physically. And then she said something about him treating her like an old woman. I mean, listen to the words. It's depressing, you know, and especially having kids in that type of environment is so toxic. And I don't know if people understand what a marriage is or a relationship is. It's about building each other up, you know, positively. People should add on to who you are, not to take away. So if he seems to be okay in that environment, then there's something wrong somewhere. And I mean, from listening to everything, I don't think she needs to be there. She said she wants to get out, and I agree with her. I agree with her. Okay. It's not healthy at all. If they don't want to end things like immediately, at least there should be some kind of separation for maybe the man to really think, because I don't think he's thinking.
Right.
I don't know where his head is at. I don't think he's thinking. He's not paying attention to his family, you know. So, I mean, I agree with her. She should get out. She can have a separation.
Even though he's
first.
apologized?
Oh, but apology, you know, I mean, you see, apology means I'm sorry, I hear you, I made a mistake, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm going to make amends or do things better or try to understand you or try to compromise.
Right.
But you don't just say sorry and then just leave it there and the person is still not happy. I know, I mean, your partner is not equipped to be 100% responsible for your happiness and everything, but they shouldn't add, you know, they shouldn't add negative things to you as a person. And that's what the guy is doing. I don't see anything positive in it aside the fact that they have 3 kids.
Right.
But then if you don't raise them in a proper positive environment, then what's the point then?
Okay. So you're still sticking to it.
So I think if it's apologized, then, like I always say, don't just say it, but show it. So that we can see the effect of the change. Let her feel that there's some change. And obviously she's not seeing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Livy.
Yeah. It's interesting how in one paragraph she says he's abusive, he's verbally abusive. And in the next paragraph she goes on about the fact that every conversation at the end of every conversation, it ends up being an abusive conversation. Right. So it means that it's not just him. While he's verbally abusing, she's also frustrated, and she's also verbally abusing. So in the other line, I don't know when she did mention that. So it's like, okay, it's not just him. It takes 2 to tango.
Right.
You see, sometimes, relationship, marriage, they go through phases. Different kinds of phases. You start with lovey-dovey, kids come in, pressure. The guy's thinking about how to pay school fees. You're thinking about, you know, you have to bathe all these kids. You have to help them through homework. Like, at which point in time do you have time for yourself to look beautiful? He's also thinking, Charlie, pay his calculation. Charlie, the pressure is on. So, Charlie, you have dating into a chance. Like, let's forget about dating. Let's raise these kids. So you're both on different wavelengths. She has expectations of you, and he has expectations of you. Both of you have different expectations of each other, but you both don't want to compromise. I beg to differ with Gail. I don't think she should leave for now, because I think that it takes 2 to tango. Yes, she's not in love with him anymore. And it's, truth be told, in relationships or in marriages, you're not always in love. You're not always excited. You're not always over the moon. But what keeps both couples going is the love, the respect, the mutual understanding, the ability to both understand that you are in a particular space within a particular time, and it's a phase that will pass. But if that conversation is not had, I don't see how both of you can make it through. And I think what's also not helping is that you're both talking at each other, you're not listening to each other. He's not listening to your needs, you're not listening to his needs. How you guys need a common ground. The question is, did you guys ever have like a counselor before you got married? Clearly you guys got married pretty early. You were 20 when you got married. I mean, I don't expect you to know everything at once, neither do I. Neither do I expect your husband to. But you need a common ground. You need somebody who is not biased, somebody who can get you both to understand each other. Maybe a counselor, somebody that you both trust to sort of walk you through the phases. But the question is, are you both prepared to do the work? Where do you both see your relationship heading? And also to help. You see, sometimes you can nag all you want, you can complain, oh, I don't even feel sexy anymore, I don't even feel nice anymore. But the thing is, you look nice for who? For yourself. You should be able to look at yourself in the mirror. Don't wait for him. You know, get it all covered. The little that you can do to decide that, okay, today I want to look nice. I'm looking nice because I want to look nice for myself. Try and engage yourself in positive things that make you look attractive. Focus should not be on him. You're trying to get his attention, but you're not getting it. The question is, how else can you get his attention? Okay, is there anything else that you can do? For me, I think, right, that your situation is not unheard of. I don't think it's impossible to salvage. I still think that if you guys have at least 10% of love for each other, you can work towards it. And know that this is a time, this is a phase. Trust me, it will get to a point in time the kids will be all grown and they'll be independent. I don't know how old they are right now, but they'll be independent. And depending on where you are at together, you can actually both work on this relationship, this marriage, and make it work. But it starts with you. What can you do as an individual to make yourself happy? Your happiness should not always be dependent on your partner.
Right.
Okay, so don't let that, do what you have to do. Make sure dinner is served, make sure things are done properly. You just do, don't nag too much and think about ways to make yourself happy. Think about positive, because you see, positive vibes, they attract positive, you realize that there's something different about you. Depending, I don't know where your financial situation is at, you can actually decide to take your husband out, not necessarily for, depending on
that's a dating thing, right?
Yes.
But you said she's saying that
she's expecting him to do it. But the thing is, it doesn't always have to be him.
You have a point
because
there.
you're not getting his attention. What can you do? Listen, wear this red hot lipstick, some nice dress, spray some perfume on yourself, and say,
that one there,
honey, babe. No, you can't.
The guy's mind.
Yeah, you have to start.
It's about making an effort.
If she even makes an effort, right? The guy is saying it's not for.
Has she tried? It almost sounds as though I'm expecting you to do everything. You don't give me money. You don't do this. You don't do this. But okay, chill. Chill for a minute.
What are you doing?
What are you also doing? Right. At least if you do something and he still rejects you, at least you have a point.
Yeah.
Do something. Take him out. You can even decide, let's go for a stroll in the area so that you're not just home.
Right.
Because sometimes being in an environment where the kids are nagging, the kids are like, mommy, this. Let's take the kids over to grandma and grandpa somewhere. Have some alone time with just you and him. And sometimes the best time to get a man's attention is after sex. Because he's all calm. His nerves are all calm. And he's listening, baby. Honey, you just might want to try that. Try that. And let me know how it works.
Right. Savvy. You've heard both sides. It looks like the table is split today. I'm curious to know where you are going to go.
For me, I feel like the situation is about two people who don't know how to communicate. Two people that got married and not knowing how to communicate. Two people who got married having totally different ideas of what they thought their marriage was going to be. and nobody has spoken to the other about what those expectations are. And both parties are sitting there very disappointed in what it's turned out to be. I'm also in agreement of the fact that, so for me, when I was listening to this, it's a lot about he doesn't, he did this, I'm tired, I'm leaving. There's lack of self-awareness here, where I almost feel like she's expecting him to make her happy, him to change the situation. And the one thing that I know that people are incredibly uncomfortable about is to be vulnerable. And the situation that this woman is in is going to require her to be vulnerable. So she says that he apologized. That says to me he might feel bad about it, but he actually doesn't know how to fix it. Sometimes as people, especially when we are more self-aware, we literally have to be there for those people at the time, create the space for a safe landing. This man doesn't know what he needs to do or how he needs to do it. And so it's unfortunate. I mean, it sucks. Sometimes in the place in a relationship, one person has to work harder than the other. It's not always the same. But the first thing I would say is bad habits need to be broken here. There's bad habits. She needs to start with herself. Before she's even marking all his wrongs, she needs to look at her blind spots and look at how she contributes to this relationship, positively and negatively. Think about what it is exactly she wants from her partner, and ask herself if the things that she wants for her partner, is she delivering it herself?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that she herself is able to give? Do you understand? There needs to be positive outcomes here. So if there's certain things she wants, has she thought about how she's going to get them? Has she tried to create a space for love? You know, has she planned dates ahead of time, marked them in the calendar, set a bedtime so they're both making time for sex and pillow talk? You know, during the day, sending flirtatious messages, you know, having a check-in with your husband at the end of the day or every Friday. How did you feel today? Temperature check. You know, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm at a 60%. Okay, what would you need in order for you to be at an 80? So it's always positive affirmation, but there needs to be check-ins. And I think the first thing that needs to happen is she needs to ask herself some really difficult questions and also realize that the husband might not have the skills. For me personally, I don't necessarily think that this is a person who doesn't love her. I think that they communicate badly, and I think because they are both afraid, that's when the verbal abuse comes. That's their form of communication. They have not learned to talk. So what she says and what he hears are two different things. What he says and what she hears are two different things. They need a mediator.
Right.
But I don't think it's a lost cause.
Yeah. You know what jumps up? I mean, and I agree with both you and Sabi. But what jumps out at me is the fact that she felt the need to differentiate the kind of abuse that she's going through. Like she says, oh, it's not physical, but it's verbal. The brain can't actually differentiate between physical pain and emotional pain. Yeah, pain is pain. And so sometimes what you go through, even though it may be verbal, it's as bad, you know? And so I just wanted to point that out. But I also do think that all is not lost. You know, I feel like she needs to help bridge this gap. I feel like, and this is just a tone I'm picking from the message, that she's put a lot of the burden on the man to make things work. I could be totally wrong. But if that's what she's doing, then I'm saying, you know, try and get closer, bridge the gap, help him to help the relationship. If you have 3 kids, you know, and I'm not saying if you're genuinely unhappy or you're staying in an abusive marriage, you should stay there just because of the kids. That's not actually what I'm saying, but I'm saying that I think that they should also, like, the fact that you have them should make you want to work a little bit more, a little bit harder at making sure that the relationship works and thrives. So yeah, don't be in a hurry to leave. I think you should give it one last push, one last effort, one last chance. Have a chat with your husband. Let him know how you feel. Let him know. And like you said, you've already told him that you've fallen out of love. But as Libby was saying, you can find it again. You know, and it's a phase. I love the way how you put it. You know, it's a phase. It's like a wave. There are high points and there are low points. And so far as you are in the relationship, and are staying committed to what you promised before God and man to do, I think you should just write it all out. Things could get better. But if after you try all this, it's still not going the way, you expect it to, then maybe, just maybe, you consider separation for a while. Because sometimes you need to get out of that situation for people to start to appreciate you. So if you remove yourself from that equation, suddenly he realizes, oh, wait a minute.
Like I said, you make him think.
It'll make him think, my wife isn't here for this. She was, oh, boy, I've taken all these things for granted. And he may begin to sit up. So consider that. Let me bring in a couple of our viewers who are watching and who've sent in their comments. Kojo says, have you stopped showing him respect because he is not meeting your needs? You can only restore the relationship and get him to do what he denies you by words, by reinstating your sense of respect for him. This is difficult. When a man feels disrespected, he acts in an unloving manner. And you're also acting disrespectful because you feel unloved. Just communicate and acknowledge your mistakes and start doing the right things again. Respect and love, you say. Yao says, oh my God, dramatic telenovela vested women of the century. If he's not pampering you, you're out. Are you pampering him? Don't forget, the love goes both ways. The arguments and the verbal abuse goes both ways. Stop whining and start doing or practicing what you preach and see what happens. It has traces of some of the stuff we're talking about. Teresa says, if you're not working, get a job and get busy with yourself and the kids. Everything will fall in place. Divorce is not an option, I guess. As far as there's no cheating and beating there, please bring the love back. Why? And this is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Even if the abuse isn't
I don't know why
physical,
they keep saying that.
It's still not okay.
It's not okay.
No,
it's still not okay. But people think that unless he puts his hand on you,
then that's no.
I'll move on. Afebia says, who's stopping you? Go and regret later. Someone will come and fits in there for you or living there for you. Love is a verb. It's an action. It's supposed to come from both sides. From your message, you've been arguing. This means you are also not submissive. Please be humble and appreciate him. He will show you all the love you need. Every man needs a respectful, submissive wife. So please be wise. AJ says, be patient and give him another chance. Emotional abuse hurts. And when you pull yourself out, you don't want to be with the person anymore, but he may have realized where he went wrong. So just give him a chance to work this out with you guys. Don't leave just yet. Mustafa says, for better or worse, I'm sure that was the marriage vow you took. You went into the marriage quite early. You must understand what you're going through is normal in every marriage. But aside you wanting to be treated as a queen and complaining about whether he isn't doing right, what have you done to make things better? Remember, it takes two to tango. And finally, Bernie says, please bear in mind that no man will marry a woman with 3 children. So if you decide to walk away now, just kiss the thing called marriage goodbye.
No, I disagree.
No.
I disagree.
I disagree.
Touch with what if her husband had died? And does that mean that no one will marry her?
No.
Charlie, we all disagree. It's Sister on Citi TV and Citi FM. We'll go for our first commercial break. We will be right back. You're welcome back to Sister. Don't forget your comments are welcome via WhatsApp to 054-998-6996, and we will be scrolling them at the bottom of the screen shortly. But we'll move on to our next message, and this says, I'm Bismarck from Accra. I've been dating this girl for about 4 years now, and we really love each other and want to spend the rest of our lives together. Problem now is that she went to church, and the pastor asked her if she's in a relationship with a man. If she's in a relationship and a man should come and ask for her hand in marriage, will she go ahead to marry the guy, or will she choose to stay in her current relationship? She said she replied that she will choose the marriage proposal. After her answer, the pastor told her that if she is indeed in a relationship, she should advise herself. Here lies the case. We both don't want to lose each other. But with what the pastor said, my girlfriend said she's very confused, doesn't know what to do, and she doesn't want to lose me either. I felt so heartbroken after she told me this. I'm confused too. What should I or we do? We need your advice. All right. Libby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I was a bit confused though. So what is it?
So
what
pastor
exactly
says
the
that.
pastor say?
Pastor says that.
Uh-huh.
He says, are you in a relationship?
Uh-huh.
She says, yes, she is currently.
Okay.
Now she's saying, if another man comes right now
Okay.
and proposes, like says that he wants to marry you,
Uh-huh.
will you choose to stay in this relationship in which you're not married,
Uh-huh.
or go for the marriage proposal? As in marry the guy
Even
who's
if he's a
proposing
stranger.
marriage.
Uh-huh.
Even if he's a stranger, let's
As long
just
as
say.
he wants to marry
Right?
you.
Yes, as long as. So when she said she'll go for the guy who's proposing marriage, pastor says, then reconsider the relationship you're in.
Oh wow! So the problem is the girl,
How's it the girl?
or because if she will be keen to go out with somebody who just turned up to say, "I'm ready to marry you."
Means she wants to get married now.
She wants to get married now.
Current guy isn't ready.
Thank you. And you to this current guy, 4 years. What are you doing? Like you see, like
It depends on how old they are.
okay, good question. It depends on
And
how old
financially.
you are. Million and one reasons, but. You see, if you've been in a relationship with her for 4 years, I don't see why she should be confused. I'm just trying to picture myself going out with my husband. We've been together through thick and thin. He knows me, I know him. We share the same religious beliefs and stuff. And we love each other, and the love is genuine, it's deep, it's real. And then I go to church one day, and then my pastor says, oh, if some guy wants to marry me right now, would I say yes? Hell no. Because I know what I want, and I know I can vouch for the love my partner has for me and I have for him. So that's why I keep going back to the fact that the girl is the problem.
Right.
You see, what does she want? Is she
wants marriage. That's
Exactly. She
obvious.
wants marriage, but you see, based on what does she have at the back of her mind? What is she thinking? So you get married, and then what? She's ready to marry a complete stranger, and for me, that's worrying. Just because you want the tag missus. And therefore more. For Sabi's sake, let me say, it's not easy just getting married. Marriage is for mature people. You have to be ready for marriage. And I don't think that she's quite there mentally. Because clearly her objectives for getting married are what? Close to zero. Like, get married, there's a fancy wedding, get married, oh, I have 2 kids, and then what? Every relationship, every marriage, and it's very essential, it's very important. I cannot say this enough. The relationship has to be based on some solid foundation. You have to be 110% sure that, even in my sleep, even in my subconscious, I am so sure about this guy I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And if today she can't say that, then you as a guy, are you going or are you coming? And the question is, why does she feel like that though? Okay, does she feel like that because you as a guy, you're not giving her the security she wants? Or why does she feel like that?
Maybe she's growing old.
She's growing old. But then again, it's a conversation to have. You see what I mean? It's a conversation to have. And for me, believe it or not, I feel like the pastor, I don't know, it didn't say that it was a prophecy or anything, but clearly the pastor was like, okay, the pastor has every right to tell her that then she could reconsider the relationship that she's been in for 4 years.
Yeah.
If you're ready to just jump out of it like that, then really?
Yes.
He has every right to ask her. And she came back
To tell
and
you
told
this.
you. Try.
That's the issue.
She came back to tell you. And you were confused. About what? And the girl too is confused.
She's not. She knows what she wants.
Thank you. But clearly you are the guy who's confused. I don't know. Moving forward, maybe you just need to ask her again. So maybe you don't understand what you sent us. So ask her. So, Adramansa, if my friend just came down from UK and he wants to marry you, are you going to actually leave me? And find out from her. And then once she gives you an answer, you know that, okay, Charlie, this is a girl who is ready to go when the next, good thing happens. So then it makes me wonder, should you even end up marrying her today? And she finally gets her heart's desire. She's those kind of women who decide, okay, once I get married, oh, finally I got married, so I really don't care about my body, I really don't care about this, I'm married, and that's it, I'm here. But then again, so when challenges come, and what frame of mind is she in? What's that thing that binds you together? For me, if that is not there, and she's ready to quit the relationship, I really don't think it's a relationship you should be in. That's your answer. Really.
All right. Sabby, let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm very confused by this one. Not because it's confusing, but I don't understand why people are putting themselves in a tizzy with something that's clearly very evident. Like, I don't understand why she said she would accept another proposal. That's just very weird to me. And then number two, she goes and she tells the guy.
Right.
Like
that.
Are you manipulating him on purpose? Are you trying to push the marriage? Maybe he hasn't. If I'm listening correctly, the guy who she's been dating for 4 years has not proposed to her as yet, right?
Right. Obviously, yeah.
So it makes me feel like then that was her way of trying to get him to panic and to try and fast track whatever he needs to fast track, because it will create a thing in his mind of she's going to leave me. Why else would you do that?
Right.
Who in their right mind wants to create doubt in their partner's mind on purpose? But for me, the way this is done is, I think that was a fair enough question. Her response is weird. There's manipulation here. I feel like she's trying to force this guy's hand. I don't understand why anybody's confused. There's nothing to be confused about. The problem here is people don't want to be honest. Nobody wants to speak the truth. I don't know why we like to behave like we're living our lives at gunpoint. I don't understand that. This is our life. We are responsible for the choices that we make. Yeah. We are responsible for the people that we bring in our lives. We have a choice. We are participants. We are not victims. Why can't we just ask somebody the truth? That just tells me that there's a lot of work that this girl still needs to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, it's manipulation. This guy, I don't understand what he's confused about. There's nothing to be confused about. If you've been with someone for 4 years and then she comes and tells you, oh no, if somebody else came and asked me to marry them, I would. The first question I'd ask is, what does that mean? Instead of me writing and trying to figure it out, I would go to the horse themselves and hear it from the horse's mouth. What does that mean?
Right.
Where's your thought process? Do you understand? But instead, we keep it in our hearts. Then we get afraid. Then we get resentful. But we don't ask the person who's saying this. Like, what does he have to lose?
Right. I mean, you said it all. Gail, let me hear your thoughts.
I like how she said, they use the word manipulation, but I'm going to go a step further. I think society has a huge role to play here. I think society is also manipulating how how do you call it? Like, I don't know how to call it. If it's the success ladder, for lack of a better phrase. You know how when you're born, you go to school, you get a job, you know, society can't
like they're ticking the boxes for you, right?
So it conditions you. So you
after school it has to be get a job, after a job it's married, after married it's kids.
And when it comes to women, they bear the brunt of it. If you don't have kids, you're not married, people don't take you serious. You can be anything, you can be a president, whatever. You can be whatever, and they'll ask you, are you married? Do you have kids?
Right.
Every time. So for most women, I'm saying this based on the things I hear. It's like when you're with a guy for that long, like they're saying, definitely at the back of her mind, as long as there's no ring, she doesn't value the relationship. Whether he's treating her right or wrong, as long as there's no ring and there's no whatever wedding, it's like then my relationship is not, I don't feel secure. But I think it's the mistake people do, because like I keep saying, it's based on what's happening in the relationship that should make you want to make things official, and not the signing of the paper itself that will make your relationship valuable. It's what you guys do with each other and how your relationship grows. It's not whether you sign a paper or not. Because, for example, I can say Oprah has been with her man for what, 30 years or more. It's still solid. Yeah. I don't know what goes on in there, but at least what we see is like they're still together. Right. You don't need that paper. But I think in Africa, that's what they've made us to think. That's why she can easily just say that I can accept a marriage proposal from a total stranger just because of, you know, the ring.
Right.
You see, and that's so sad, you see. And for her telling her guy as well, like you're all saying, maybe they've talked about it or they haven't talked about it, but she doesn't know how to tell him, like, this is what I feel, this is what I feel should happen for me to feel like, okay, I'm secure and everything. Rather than, for you know, she didn't even talk to any pastor, who knows? She's just finding a way to just get him on that, you know, topic, and then she can have that conversation. But what I think is that they should ask themselves whether their relationship is worth cementing. If it's something that they feel like, I don't know whether you said something about that. Like if you feel your relationship, it's you said something about foundation.
Yeah,
yes.
Foundation.
If you have the correct foundation, you guys feel you have a shot at having a long-lasting relationship, then maybe you can bring in the marriage thing, but not because you feel you have to marry. But you feel, okay, yes, we are there. Let's just make it official.
Right.
So, like Sabi said, the communication is not. It's not, how do you call it, mature.
Great, yeah.
No, it's like her mind is somewhere and his mind is somewhere, and I think it's just, I don't know. It doesn't carry any weight.
Talk about the wrong reasons to get married.
And then I feel like they shouldn't allow people to keep, like she said, interfering every time. People put so much stock in what their pastors or their religious leaders say so much that you let them interfere. Fine, you can listen to other, you know, angles. For you know, they're saying things you don't see because you're in it, so you might not see that you're going on the wrong path. You can listen, but the final decision is left for you to make because you're the one who's going to be with this person.
But you never know. Maybe this pastor was just questioning her based on his observation.
Trying to make her think.
Exactly.
Does he even exist? I'm wondering.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Assuming that he even existed, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he asked her this based on observation.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, there are obviously some terrible pastors out there, and there's some really, really amazing pastors out there. And as far as I'm concerned, he didn't prophesy or say anything to her. He said, okay, if this is your decision, then you need to think about it.
Right.
And he has every right to tell her that.
Right.
Well.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the fact that he told her that. What I have a problem with is the fact that she went back to tell the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I would never. I'm sorry, if I was that lady, I would not say that. Unless, as Sabi said, she's trying to low-key prompt him that, yo, we've been doing this for 4 years.
What you want.
Yeah, what are you waiting for kind of thing. It's tricky. She says she loves you. You say you still love her. You say that you vow to each other that you're going to be together forever. So what's the issue here? Why should what a pastor says matter in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah.
And he's saying, think about it. Maybe this is a wake-up call for both of you to start taking this journey together a little more seriously. You know, so my guy, Bismarck, you're the one who wrote to us. If maybe you're not, you haven't been thinking about making an honest woman out of her, this is a time to maybe start putting things together. If that is what you really do want to do. You say you love her, so what's the issue? If it's financial, then sit her down, explain to her that, babe, I'm not in a position right now to do X, Y, and Z because of A, B, and C. So give me some time. We will get there. You trust me. You love me. We're in this together. Give her an assurance so she doesn't go listening to people who are saying, well, if your current boyfriend isn't offering you marriage, then you know, that kind of thing, right? So, Charlie, look sharp. Look sharp. That's all we're saying. It's Sister on Citi TV and Citi FM. The show is brought to you by Vodafone. It's also brought to you by Secure. Now, Secure is a low-dose daily oral contraceptive pill that sort of gives, or helps women prevent unintended pregnancies. It's safe, it's easy to use, and it's provided women with a lot of options in terms of planning their families for over 30 years. So if you're looking for, a contraceptive that actually works, I would recommend the Secure pill. With Secure, you decide. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we return, more of your messages. Welcome back, Sister, on Citi TV and Citi FM. Remember, we're also beaming live across sub-Saharan Africa on DSTV channel 363. My name is Jessica, once again in studio with Olivia, with Gail, and with Sabi, who's joining us from South Africa. So we'll go into yet another message. Says, hello ladies, I'm a 25-year-old university graduate who's still looking for a decent job. I've been dating my 27-year-old girlfriend for a year now, and we love each other so much. The issue is her mom isn't in support of our relationship because her daughter is older than I am, and she claims her daughter is due for marriage. I'm sad and confused because her mom has started giving her pressure to break up with me and has even started introducing her to well-to-do men. I feel I'm going to lose her even though we love each other so much. Please advise. We're heading to Joburg with this one. Sabi, weigh in first.
Is it me? Is it? Oh gosh, Lord have mercy. Oh. You know what? There's something about a mother-daughter relationship. It can either be the most beautiful thing on earth or a living nightmare. And when I say living nightmare, there's the controlling. There's, I think you should be this. I think you should wear this. I think you should have this job. I think you should marry this kind of person. There are some relationships, mother and daughter, where the daughter is able to have an honest conversation with the mother, and there are some relationships that don't foster that. So for me, this seems like the latter. This is the kind of relationship where I am sensing that this girl has been raised and lived most of her life pleasing her mother. And now it's come to the time where there's something that she really wants, but it's not fitting into her mother's plans for her daughter's life. And her daughter, who's the girlfriend, she's now at a crossroads, and she needs to think about what's important and where she wants to go, and what will that mean. Because the guy at this beginning point, at least for me, there's nothing the guy can do at this point. These are the beginning stages. No. If she is meeting prospective partners, that is something that she's engaging in and she's allowing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
She's not kicking and screaming. She's engaging in it. And there's something to be said. I mean, we're all women, guys. I've been in situations in my younger days, when I thought this was cute. But in my younger days where I would I've only introduced 2 people, but I brought or even showed a picture, my mother would say, oh, I don't like him. And we would laugh. I'd be like, why? Why did you like? She's like, no, I don't like the look of him. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not dating him. I am. But the relationship that we have is the type where I can say that, right? Because we both know that I'm the one who's going to spend the rest of my life with him, not you.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a daughter who has to foster an engagement, trying to get the mother to know the boyfriend, get the boyfriend to understand who the mother is, meet and in the middle, have a common ground here. But it can't be a thing of just by the boyfriend's at the door coming to meet Ma. Before the boyfriend even meets Ma, the girl has to do some work here. There's a relationship here way before the boyfriend that needs to be worked on. That she needs to find her voice. She needs to be comfortable to tell her truth. I think a lot of that needs to be worked on first before they even try and do the I want my family to love you situation. It's what is the relationship between the mother and the daughter, and what needs to be done in order to bring the mother along to her side. Nobody else can choose who you're going to love. This is not an arranged marriage. It's 2020, where people know each other, where people are allowed to fall in love. We'll always be somebody's child, but at the same time, we're grown-ups. We wake up every day, we either go and study, we go to work, we look after ourselves. We're not in the womb anymore.
Right.
You know, so she needs to be strong enough to have some really honest, soft landing conversations with her mother. Because her mother's got a totally different plan for her life, which is funny because that plan does not correlate with her daughter's.
Well said. Gail, what do you think?
You said the mom said what? The lady's too old. Like they are both in their 20s.
Yeah.
Just 2
He's
years
25,
difference.
yeah, she's 27.
2 years. Well, I used to have a big deal about that. I feel funny when I think I said that before. I used to date someone and I was 2 years older. I made a huge deal out of that. I wouldn't date the guy. Yeah, I wouldn't because 2 years.
Yeah.
But here now I think very differently about that. And I mean, they're both in their 20s. It's not like she's like 45 and he's still 27. No, 2 years. There's nothing really wrong with that. People focus on the wrong things when they are looking for life partners, like age, money, status. You should rather focus on character, okay? And she said they both love each other, right? So, as if the guy will never get old. When I hear, like relationships concerning age, I'm like, you grow older at the end of the day, or you also be older than somebody. You, the guy, who end up getting a younger lady, and that's what society was always saying, that the guy has to be older. I don't know why they keep saying that. But then when I got older, I learned something that women's libido. I'm just saying that on the side. It gets higher
the older you grow.
So if you imagine I'm with somebody who's 10 years older than me, he can't match me. When because his libido is going to be going and his stamina and everything is going to be diminishing and mine is going higher. So who said that the man has to be older? I need to find that person. I think it's just on a lighter note, but like Sabi said, the guy is like a third wheel here, because the lady seems not to have a mind of her own and is allowing the woman to tell her what to do. Now she's choosing partners for you and you're also entertaining them. So, and the guy is already insecure.
Right.
Because he doesn't have any money. And now they are bringing in people who, have money and stuff. So it's like, I don't see how they're going to build anything, substantial now with what he has. He's still in school, or he's trying to get a job. So he himself is not established, but they're still young.
No, I think he has a job because he put decent in quotes.
He's yet to find a decent one.
Yeah.
But they are both still young. So I think, back then, way back, 25 was too old. Back then, 18, they used to get married 18, 20, start having kids. My mom, them's 20, 22. But now, even 30, you're too young because of the way things are now. Things are different, not like before. Women are encouraged to go to school also and develop themselves as well. Yeah. So there's no rush. Before, women didn't go to school. The guy did everything. They arranged their marriage. He picks her up to his house and she just has his baby and cook for him and stuff. Now, the dynamics are different now. So if I were him, I should stop wasting my time. Right. Let the girl... give the girl space to make up her own mind.
Okay. All right, Livy.
That's what I think.
Do you know, in all of this, I'm wondering what the girl's response to you has been. Because she's come back to you and told you, my mom says this. My mom is even introducing me to prospective partners. So after she told you, what did you ask her and what was her response? Did she assure you that your love was good enough to take both of you to the next step? Okay, because you're feeling insecure. So I'm guessing that she didn't make you feel... She's not making you feel as confident in the relationship anymore.
Right.
Okay, so like Sabi rightly said, this girl has got to find her voice, and she's got to find one ASAP. She's got to speak to her mom on a very calm note and she needs a lot of time to be able to wean off her mother's ideas, her mother's opinions, and her mother's it's not even opinion. Her mother doesn't have an opinion. Her mother is like lording over her, deciding for her what she should do with her life, what she should not do with her life. And it becomes very annoying because you do find that a lot these days where some mothers, not all mothers, keep pushing their children into marrying people who are rich, or it's like indirectly prostituting your children. Like she could marry a rich man for all she wants, and the rich man could start, I mean, I've heard all sorts of stories whereby some rich men end up being abusive and end up worrying, people's daughters. So clearly this woman's objectives are wrong. I mean, she should, like Sabi said, she's got to find her voice. I mean, the relationship that I had with my mom, like back then, it was so open whereby my opinion mattered. And I think that's how I'm raising my children, whereby they ask questions and their opinions matter because they have a brain, they've got emotions, they are not animals.
Right.
So I think that her mom is overstepping her boundaries here. It's because the girl has allowed that to happen. So moving forward, have that conversation with her. Ask your girlfriend, okay, this is what mommy is doing. What do you want?
Right.
So once she tells you exactly what she wants, at least you know where you stand. Right. If she says, oh, I don't know what to do, I have to listen to my mom, because if I don't listen to my mom, this is what is going to happen. And you know what, however you want to look at it, assuming through some divine intervention, you get money and you end up being you end up being a millionaire tomorrow. This woman will have a say in terms of what she wears on her wedding day, when you guys have sex, when you guys do this, when you guys do that. But this girl needs to mature, and she needs to mature quickly. She needs to find her voice, like Sabi rightly said.
Totally agree. Yeah. Find your voice. What do you want, most importantly? It's not about what mummy says or who mummy is introducing you to. What do you want? Whatever you want, go for it. It's that simple. My name is Jessica. This is how we end the show today. Sabi, it's been good, as always. Thank you so much for joining us from SA. Lots of love. And, I hope the weather gets cooler for you. I could see you fanning yourself when the cameras weren't on you. But, yes, thank you so much. Livy, Gail, as well. It's been good. And to our audience for tuning in every single week, we totally appreciate you. Don't forget to find us on Facebook at Sister LIVE. Send your questions to the show ahead of time to Jessica at citifmonline.com. Thanks to our sponsors, Secure and Vodafone. We'll be back same time next week.